G'day guys, it's Iski here, and today I'm incredibly excited, and that's because today it's my official first day of my home cinema build. Well, at least doing it on YouTube and releasing videos from now on. So what I thought we'd do is I'd take you in and show you my room. I thought I'd, show you what I've got to work with. I have to show you some of the hurdles that I have to overcome. And then I thought maybe we'd go and fire up the computer and I'd show you what I want this thing to look like right at the end in a 3D imaging model that I've already created. So having said that, let's just get started. Let's go in and take a look. Okay, so I guess for people who aren't familiar with my channel, this is actually what I do for a living. I make women's steel-boned corsetry. I also make medieval style bridal wear, formal wear and casual wear. And yeah, I've been doing this my entire life, pretty much almost basically from leaving school. I've been doing this since the 90s and it's been fun. And now in the last few years I've been dump ratting. I still do this, but the dump ratting is just what I'm doing at the moment, and I'm just enjoying that. But the reason I'm saying that is because check this out. Look at this big hole in the wall we have over here. That's where my cinema is going to be. So my cinema is going to be backing up to this shop of mine. And I had to tell you all of that stuff because you will see all of this stuff constantly through this build. So there you go. Now, the other thing that I want to mention to you is there's been a slight change of plan. I'm no longer taking you into my room and showing you this 3D model because, to be honest, I can't work out how to do video capture. Well, at least I've worked that out. I can do it, but the audio sounds terrible. So what I'm decided to do is I'm going to take you into this room now. I'll show you around, and I will also just, overlay exported still images of that 3D model that I have made. And believe me, it's going to be cool. It's probably the best way to do it anyway. So yeah, expect to see a lot of still images of what this room is hoping what I want it to look like at the end. But so let's do this. So I guess the first thing we should say is obviously that's the front of the cinema, where that screen is down there. It's not the main screen. That's not the screen I'm going to use. Now, the dimensions of this room is basically from the wall down there to the wall where I am here. This wall just there. It's about, I think it's like 7.6, 7.7 meters long. Now, the width of this cinema from that wall there to this white wall just here, and it's a strange shaped room. There is some more space around there, but to this white wall here is 5.5 or 5.6 meters wide. And I'll show you what that room is, by the way. So that room is, if we walk back into my shop here, that room is this room here, and that's my change room. So the girls come over, they pull off their gear, they wrap their corsets around, and they walk out, and I lace them up. And you can also see I sew in here as well. So there you go. I just thought I'd show you that so I can kind of explain why I can't just knock that out. But yeah. Anyway, so there you go. Now you can see that it's actually a step down. It's about almost a meter, I reckon. It's got to be at least 900 mil stepping down into the cinema. So let's actually do that now. So I'll just walk down these dodgy stairs that I've made. And there you go. So the height, basically floor height, from the floor to the ceiling, we have 2.6 meters. And talking about the ceiling, we come to the first hurdle. And basically this entire structure is a big deck. I made a massive big deck, and it's basically a huge house extension. But at the time I built it, it was planning, it was going to be an open deck, but in the end I enclosed it. But because I was originally going to have it as an open deck, because it was going to be rain and so forth, I put a fall on the deck. So basically, this point here, that the back of the deck that's connected to the back of my house, down to this point here, there's a difference in 8 centimeters. So it's actually 8 centimeters lower at this end than it is at that end. And that's because the deck is 8 meters wide, and it's also 8 meters long. And basically there is a 1 in 100 fall in that deck. So you can probably see here, I've actually started to fix that. Basically in the cinema area, it's going to be, I think it's, what did I say, 5.5 meters wide. Now that basically means at this end here of the ceiling is did I say 5.5 meters wide? Yeah, 5.5 meters wide, but that basically means it's 5.5 centimeters higher at this side of the cinema than it is down there. So you can see I've actually started to remedy that situation. You can see all of these clips, they're called fairing channel clips, and the best part about this is basically the channel, you can see that's the fairing channel, but they get clipped into those clips, and the cool part is you can actually adjust those clips so you can have them at different heights. And if I turn around, you can see all of the string lines that I've put up, and I've been tediously kind of leveling this ceiling out, because that's the biggest nightmare of this entire build, is this ceiling. But I think it's under control. Took me like 2 weeks to work all of this stuff out. I kept redoing it, and I finally got it right. But it's going to be level. It's definitely going to have a level ceiling, and it's going to look great. But talking about the ceiling, I am planning on having a Starfield ceiling, an incredibly massive, in-depth Starfield ceiling. It's probably going to be the biggest one, most in-depth Starfield ceiling I think I've ever seen. But I've been planning this for 20 years now, so I'm not going to cut any corners when it comes to that ceiling. In fact, I think it's going to be the most expensive part of the build, apart from my eventual, projector, the 4K projector, that is. But yeah, it's going to be a really nice Starfield ceiling. But okay, let's get back to this end. So basically, let's have a look. So here we are going to have a riser. So that's the back of that is basically going to be the back of the cinema, and there is going to be a riser there. And my seating is going to be 2 rows of seats, front row and a back row. But the coolest and the most different part about this cinema to any other cinemas that I've seen, or most people have seen, I guess, is that I want this cinema not to be just stuck in one seating configuration. I like to move things around. I want to lie down on seats sometimes. I want to kind of stretch out. I want different looks for my cinema. So what I've planned is, when I build this riser, I am going to build this riser to be more of a puzzle type riser. So check out some of these photos. Now, they're going to be controversial, I know, especially the ones with these, 2-seaters on either side of the center step. I know a lot of the cinema purists out there hate that kind of look, but I like the look, and to be honest, everyone that I've shown all my photos to has said that's the best looking, photo of your cinema that we've seen. And so what I thought I would do, I am going to make my riser so I can push, the steps in at the center. I can actually push them back, and I can put seats in the center if I want, and then pull steps out at the sides. So it's going to be like a multifunctional type of riser. I had that idea a while ago, and I'm going to stick to it. So basically, if I get sick of these seats on either side of the center step, I'll actually push them together, push the middle step in, and I'll have the steps on either side of the cinema. You know what I'm trying to say, don't you? So that's how I'm going to do my seating, and and the riser. It's going to be an interesting one. So yeah, check that out. Subscribe and have a look how I do that. It's going to be, I'm not sure, but I've got some ideas. I've got some really good ideas, actually. And anyway, yeah, you can see I'm a bit of a builder. All of this stuff I've built myself. I've enclosed the bottom part of this deck all on my lonesome, and I enjoyed it. To be honest, I do spend most of my time behind the needle of a sewing machine, uh, quite often till 3 a.m. in the morning, meeting deadlines, corsets I have to send around the world. But when I can pick up the tools, I love doing that. I love it. In fact, the only part of this room that I couldn't do is one, I don't know how to lay concrete, so I got some professionals in here to do that. Although I did dig by hand in rock, it was all shale. I had to dig it all out by hand. I did it correctly. I did it as a livable slab. There were all these trenches and so forth and footings. And I did all that. They came in and they did the concrete slab. And I had to get someone in to kind of do the retaining wall around here. And luckily for me, I had a couple of mates who actually build block walls and do all of this kind of stuff. And they actually built this for nothing. So all I had to do was buy the bricks. But yeah, so there you go. But let's talk about, check out that. See that massive big beam? That is a huge beam. Now, I got really lucky. I got incredibly lucky. I remember talking to the architect or the draftsman, and I said, listen, mate, I don't want any posts in this room. When I was building and designing the deck upstairs, that's what I said. I said, you can build it design it any way you want. I just don't want to have any posts. And he said, well, if you don't have posts, you're going to have this massive beam. And I said, that's fine. I can live with the beam. But can you actually offset that beam? Like, rather than have it dead center in the center of the cinema, which if it was in the center of the cinema, it would probably be more like where this bit of fairing channel here is. Can we actually offset it, say 1.5 meters? And he said, yeah, we can do that. The only thing is you will have to spend a little bit more money and get some thicker joists. So these LVLs up here, they're just really thick. I'm not sure. What are they? They look like about 75 mil. So I got really lucky, guys. If I actually stand back here in the back corner of this cinema, and you can just see the area I have to play with. It's pretty epic. I'm very lucky. It's basically my dream space. So there you go. Now, if we have a look at this this big beam, the best part is, now that I have it offset, check that out. I'm going to be doing these soffits, or soffites. You know, I don't even know how to pronounce that word. If someone can tell me, I've only ever seen it written down, so I'm probably saying it all wrong. But they're going to basically enclose that beam. You will not see that beam. And the soffites, or soffits, they're going to go all the way around the perimeter of the ceiling, and you will have all your lighting and so forth. LED, accent lighting, and all of that kind of stuff. And yeah, so that's pretty cool. The other thing is the other hurdles. I mean, yeah, we've got some glass doors there, and we have a big sliding glass door there. But I'll work out something for there. I'll work it all out. We'll do some sound treatments, but I'm not overly concerned. I've actually been watching, some movies on this screen here lately, and I've had it turned up quite loud. And I've gone outside, and even look at this. There's no insulation in these walls yet. And I've gone outside and it's still not too bad. I mean, I don't think the neighbours could hear it. But anyway, I am going to basically go through and do everything correctly. I'm not going to be doing double walls or using green glue or anything like that. But we'll put some basic treatment in there. Okay, so what else? Hey, have we talked about screens? All right, let's talk about screens. A lot of people are probably going to laugh at me when I say this. But listen, I'm having 3 screens. I'm going to have 3 screens, right? The reason being is because, one, I've got 2 motorized screens, and I may as well use them. And one of them is a $3,000 Screen Technic screen that I found at the dump. And it's going in the ceiling. It's a 150-inch, is it a 4.3 to 1? You know, the old school TV show aspect ratio. And I don't care. I'll use that because I watch a lot of Star Trek, and the older Next Generation, it'll have its dedicated screen. You can actually wind that all the way. It goes all the way down to the floor. It looks incredible. And we're going to use this screen that's there at the moment. That I just bought that with the projector that I bought, and I thought, well, hey, that's a 150-inch 16:9 screen. I may as well use it. I mean, you're not going to see it. It's going to be hidden in the ceiling. You won't even know they're there. But you know how it is when your mates come around, your friends who are into audio visual, and you just want to mess around with different looks and different, screens and different fabrics and things like that. I think, why not? I'm going to stick it in there anyway, because you don't get anything if you sell them. The one that I'm talking about, the Screen Techniques, the 150-inch 4:3 screen, guys, I found that at the dump. It's worth $3,000. In fact, I found two at the dump, and check out that video. It was incredible. But the main screen that is going to be there, the one that will always be used, and yeah, it is going to be a 180-inch 16:9 screen. A 180-inch 16:9 screen. It actually is going to reach from just, I think it's like 50 mil underneath this soffit, and it is going to go all the way down to the ground. It's like 50 mil off the ground. Basically, it is going to look like a IMAX screen inside your house, I reckon. And I don't care what people say, that's how it's going to be. I'm going to mess around with that. And the cool part is that 180-inch 16:9 screen, that will actually mask up to, or mask down to, 170-inch 2.35 to 1 CinemaScope screen. So I'm pretty excited about that. Check out, hopefully I'm putting up all these photos on the screen for you guys to get an idea of what it's going to be like. Now, the distance between the front of... now, this is going to be an acoustically transparent screen, the 180-inch. And rather than do what a lot of people do and put the speakers in the wall, I am going to do the old school and have a shelf behind my screen and set the speakers, big speakers, behind the screen. That's the first, actually 20 years ago, when I first got into home cinemas and decided one day I will have this cinema. That's what I first saw, and I love the look. I like the look of lighting them up and being able to see the speakers behind the woven material. So that's what I'm going to be doing. And yeah, it's going to be awesome. It's going to be a screen. Now, the screen is going to tilt. You've probably seen different people on YouTube building these screens, and they kind of tilt up like a garage door or a hatchback on the back of a car. It will actually, that's how we're going to get that up and get behind the screen and do maintenance to speakers and whatever we want. But awesome. So you're probably wondering about, at the moment, this is what I've come up with. So the seating distance between the front row seats and the 180-inch screen, the front row, I think it works out to be a 4.5 meters distance from your eyes to the screen. All these photos that you're seeing, by the way, that I'm putting up on as I'm talking here, they're all done to scale. Everything is done to scale. Even that handsome looking bearded dude that you see on there, he is actually my height. So he's like 175, 176 centimeters tall. So you get an idea about the heights as well. So all these pictures are to scale. So basically, from the the screen, once the screen is out, I'm pretty sure the screen's going to be out about 600 mil from the back wall. We're going to have a distance of 4.5 meters to the first seat, which is about where I'm standing now. You can't see it, but yeah, it's immersive, but it's definitely doable because I've been watching it, every now and then, and it looks awesome. I know, take my word for it, it's going to work. But to be honest, I'm not even sure if the first row is going to be my sweet spot. I actually have a feeling that the second row might be the sweet spot. And that's what I'm thinking. Because, well, I think, what does it work out? I think it's 6 meters. And from your eyes when you're sitting in the back row to the screen, 6 meters. And I like it. I really do like that. And it works well. And we still have, I think, probably just over a meter to the back wall, from your ears to the back wall. So I'm pretty sure that's going to work. In fact, I know it's going to work. But what I'll be doing shortly is actually building, and keep an eye out for these videos. If you're into all this stuff and you're not subscribed, subscribe now, because I will be building a cinema. It's going to be called a junkyard cinema, and it's just a temporary cinema where I, basically build a temporary screen and all of this kind of stuff with stuff that I find. And yeah, it's going to be really cool, because what I think is I'm not going to be able to get my distances right unless I've got, a 180-inch screen built. And I'm going to build a dodgy one first for myself, and then I'll go out and buy some really good fabric and do it correctly right at the end of the build. But yeah, so keep an eye out. I'll be doing a 3-part series where I build a junkyard cinema, just so I can, for free. So it's going to be a junkyard cinema for free, where I don't pay for anything. I find everything and I fix it all. And that's how we're going to get our riser heights and our seating distances, because we've got the screen then, and we can work out the rest of our cinema, and then we will build the rest of the cinema, if that makes sense. But I think that's just about it. I think that's all I've really got to mention. We've got this massive table. I can't wait to get this out of here and put some seats down and begin. In fact, I think I might start doing that tomorrow. Put that table back up there in the corset shop. But for now, I think that's almost it. Oh, the other thing is, I just mentioned how I'm going to do that junkyard cinema. Well, it's not just the junkyard cinema, that 3-part video that I want to do with used items. This entire project is going to be using materials that I find, building materials that I find at the dump, that professional builders throw away. You have no idea of what I've already collected. It's amazing. So all the materials, not all the materials, I reckon probably a third of the materials I'll get for free. But all of the gear that goes into this cinema, I will be finding. I will be finding for free. I've already found a lot of it, and you've probably seen a lot of it in previous videos. Yeah, so we will be going through all of this gear. I'll be asking for opinions from you guys. What do you think I should use? And we'll take it from there. But yeah, the end result, excuse me, the end result for this cinema is hopefully a cinema that is basically something that looks like it could be worth $100,000, but in reality probably only cost, I don't know, 10. But having said that, it's not always going to be, full of stuff that I've found and fixed, because to be honest, most of that stuff has been dated. I will, once this entire, process is over, and I've proven to people that you can go out and get really cool secondhand gear or find stuff for free. Once I've proven that that's possible, I will literally go out and I will buy really good gear. I mean, the projectors, I'll end up getting myself a good 4K native projector, and will invest some real dollars in, some good, gear, some receivers and all of that kind of stuff. But anyway, guys, that's about it. I'm going to wrap this up. Hopefully I can... Oh, well, I'll have to do it tonight when I edit this video. Hopefully I've been able to throw over, while I've been talking, some really cool photos of what this place is going to look like once it's all finished. And I'm hoping that whoever's watching this video might want to subscribe and come along and check things out. Give me your opinions and, yeah, give me some inspiration, because that's what it's all about. The thing that I like the most when I look at other people's videos on YouTube, it's just all the inspiration people get from other people, and the inspiration people give to other people as well. And so that's my room. That's how it looks at the moment, and hopefully tomorrow I will begin. So I want to thank you all for watching. Please subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Oh wait, I forgot. One more thing. How did I miss this? Remember, I've got this big area on the side. What are we going to do with that? Well, you probably have some idea what I'm thinking, because you've been looking at all these photos. Originally, I was going to stick a bar in there, and I really love the look, but the fact is I've got a bar on the deck. It's just above our heads, so that doesn't really make too much sense. So what I'm thinking about doing now, obviously I'm going to get rid of all of these TVs and the shelves and all of that crap there. All it's just going to go. What I'm thinking now is let's put down some old school arcade machines, because I've found a couple of those lately at the dump and I'm currently fixing them up. And I'm also building one myself from scratch. So I thought, let's stick those in. And we can also, what I plan on doing, this wall here, building it out towards us here, towards the camera. I'm going to build it out a metre, probably stick my equipment rack in there, as well as a beautiful, expensive glass door beer and wine fridge. And we'll stick some lollies and chips and ice creams and all of that in there as well. So that's what I'm thinking. Let me know what you think, because I'd be curious to know. Yeah, should I, stick with my original bar plan and have 2 bars, or just go the whole arcade route? But there you go, guys. I want to thank you again for watching, and I will definitely see you on the next one.